amazed at his teaching because he delivered his message with authority. A man in the synagogue had the spirit of an unclean demon. He screamed, "Hey, what have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are. You are the Holy One from God." "Silence," Jesus said, speaking harshly to the demon. "Come out of him." The demon threw the man down before them, then came out of him without harming him. They were all shaken and began to say to each other, "What kind of word is this? That he can command unclean spirits with authority and power, and they leave." Reports about him spread throughout the whole countryside. After leaving the synagogue, Jesus went home with Simon. Simon's mother-in-law was sick with a high fever, and the family asked Jesus to help her. He bent over her and spoke harshly to the fever, and it left her. She got up at once and served them. When the sun was setting, everyone brought to Jesus relatives and acquaintances with all kinds of diseases. Placing his hands on each of them, he healed them. Demons also came out of many people. They screamed, "You are God's son." But he spoke harshly to them and wouldn't allow them to speak because they recognized that he was the Christ. When daybreak arrived, Jesus went to a deserted place. The crowds were looking for him. When they found him, they tried to keep him from leaving them. But he said to them, "I must preach the good news of God's kingdom in other cities too, for this is why I was sent." So he continued preaching in the Judean synagogues. One day, Jesus was standing by Lake Gennesaret. When the crowd pressed in around him to hear God's word, Jesus saw two boats sitting by the lake. The fishermen had gone ashore and were washing their nets. Jesus boarded one of the boats, the one that belonged to Simon, then asked him to row out a little distance from the shore. Jesus sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. When he finished speaking to the crowds, he said to Simon, "Row out farther into the deep water and drop your nets for a catch." Simon replied, "We've worked hard all night and caught nothing. Because you say so, I'll drop the nets." So they dropped the nets, which was so huge that they're splitting. They signaled for their partners in the other boat to come and help them. They filled both boats so they were about to sink. When Simon Peter saw the catch, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Leave me, Lord,